Did you ever figure out how far you will go after singing that anthem like a bajillion times after this movie came out? Anyway, what's up? Welcome back. I'm John Stark from MacMovieGuy.com, and I'm taking a second look at Mona, or as it's actually pronounced, Moana. But to us in the blind and visually impaired community, it might also be pronounced Mona because our screen readers have no idea what to do. They just keep putting out Mona, hoping that's the way to do it. It's not no. But I definitely used my Roku device to navigate over and click on Mona. Anyway, I've seen Moana before. It slightly predates my vision loss. So it's just like the year before I was diagnosed, started losing my vision. So I have actually seen the original Moana. So going through and listening to the audio description track, I was able to sort of match the moments together. I also own the movie on DVD and Blu-ray, but I watched it on Disney Plus anyway. Just, I don't know, for shits and giggles, just because it takes more time to take the movie out of the box and put it in than it does to go on, click on Disney Plus where I know it is and put it in. The DVD's there for a rainy day or in case I stopped subscribing to Disney Plus, or don't have an internet connection or I don't know, something. But I can still watch that movie. But it's just on Disney Plus with audio description. So, yeah, obviously I'm doing this because, Moana 2's out. So I wanted to go back through and watch Moana 1, the OG Moana, the money from the block. I'm sorry. That was really bad. Subscribe for things that are really bad. Actually, you probably shouldn't subscribe, but just do it anyway. Just click it. Anyway, so yeah, I remember when this movie came out, and it was actually good. And people were like, they were like, I don't know, it's not Frozen. There's always that becomes a thing where it's like everything after Frozen is like, I don't know, it's not Frozen. It's like, okay, well, but it's really good. Like either way, it does have like one little thing where every time I watch Moana, I've seen this movie a couple times. This is probably my fourth or fifth time watching Moana. It's not quite to the Desert Island point. I like to say that my Desert Island movies, I've seen at least 5 or more. This may have been the 5th time. I may be able to take this movie, so appropriate, by the way, to take Moana to an island. Like, come with me, Moana. It's Moana 3. I'll probably end up having to watch this again because of the fucking... Who thought making a live action adaptation to Moana, greenlighting it when the movie's not even 10 years old, was a good idea. I remember watching Dwayne Johnson on the red carpet last year, and he was trying to explain how he had both Moana 2 and Moana coming out, and what he was working on and when they were releasing, and his brain was melting. Like he in real time, you could tell he was realizing how stupid what he was saying was. He was like, yeah, I'm working on Moana right now, but we got like Moana 2 coming out in November, but I'm really excited about both, and Moana is going to be coming out after Moana 2. And yeah. It's like, okay, Rock. Anyway, um, yeah, I know that they're doing it for one reason, and that's to make sure that they have The Rock actually playing Maui. That's what they think is the gimmick, and they think people want to know. Why don't we just wait and see what happens down the line 30 years from now and see if there's somebody who's maybe not like The Rock, or his kid or something, maybe there's somebody better suited. I don't know, different, giving a different vibe, or just not do it at all, there's also a possibility, many choices there. Anyway, back to animated Moana, which has music written by Lin-Manuel Miranda, which the sequel does not. this killer. If you like Lin-Manuel Miranda, it's got a lot of good music in here. Even You're Welcome, he competently manages to write something that Dwayne Johnson sounds good on. It's got a little bit of rap, but it does have You're Welcome. He does actually have to hit pitches, so he can't just, he's not just flat rapping the whole time. Um, and yeah, I don't know. I like Moana. I like the story of this girl who's connected to the ocean with her people, and she has to set out on this journey to find Maui and return the heart to the sea, and that's a fun journey. The movie's longer than the sequel because, well, if the sequel, anyway, we'll get to that. Watch my review of the sequel. I've actually already seen the sequel, and then I reviewed this. I forgot to watch this first, so I'm already color coded from this. That's not a thing. Color coded means something else. But anyway, it's yeah, it's Moana. I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful for you, Moana. But there is one truth that is self-evident, and it's that not all songs are created equal. And I hate Shiny. Every time this movie comes up and that crab has to do his song, I'm just like, Lynn, I don't know what you were doing here. I don't know if you were drunk. I don't know who told you this song was good. Shiny is awful. I hate Shiny so much. I love the rest of the music in this, but that song that they gave to the, it's not even the main villain. It's like the pre-villain. It's like the side villain. It's not even the first villain because technically they fight those creatures, who turn out not to be villains in Moana 2. Spoiler alert. Um, just misguided and misunderstood. Let's change everything. I'm surprised the crab didn't come back with like I was misunderstood also. Can I be on Team Moana? I love Moana now. I want to be here. Um, and yeah, I hate Shiny. And objectively, even though the poor young women who wrote the songs for Moana are getting a ton of shit for Moana too. The song that they wrote for the equivalent of the villain in Moana 2 is objectively better than Shiny. Neither of them are necessarily memorable, and neither of them are poor unfortunate souls. You know, neither of them are you going to be like cranking out to and being like, oh, I remember this one. Be prepared. You know, none of that. But yeah, Moana 2's villain song beats Shiny in, all day, every day. So I love everything but Shiny. Like the whole movie, all the way through. I'm just like, this movie's banger. This movie's, oh god, she's going to the crab. And I have to listen to that song again. God, they're gonna play Shiny. There it is. It's happening. It's happening. God, I can't move. It's taking over my body. I mean, I guess I'm at home now, so I could fast forward. So this one's really on me. But it's the one thing that sort of keeps me from, you know, when I Desert Island a movie, I just give it an A+ and say fuck it. It's probably not an A+ movie, but it just means I own it, and I'm probably gonna do that for Moana at some point in my life. But it is kind of new. I tend to not Desert Island movies that are as new as Moana. I kind of want to make sure, but I've seen Moana enough times where it's like I could do that. I'm just not going to this time. I think I'm maybe 1 or 2 times away from being able to legitimately call it a comfort film / Desert Island movie, where I can overlook the faults because I love the rest of the movie so much that I'm just like, yep, we're good. That's all I need. You know, I'm feeling crappy. I need to put on a comfort movie, and yep, I'll do that one. You know, so it's almost there, but Shiny is what keeps this movie from getting an A, because I really hate that song with a passion, with a raging passion. I think Ali Carvalho was a brilliant casting find. She's turned in many great performances since playing Moana, and live action ones too, like, which is somewhat unheard of for a sort of vocal talent find to step out from behind the voice and start being physically in things. Um, that's kind of amazing. And I'm glad that she got to return to voice for Moana 2. She's been deemed a little bit too old to do the movie, the live action movie, unlike The Rock. So that's unfortunate, but um, hopefully they'll find another talented, gifted youngster. A lot of times when you get these sort of like breakout musical roles and people get really excited, those performers go nowhere. A lot of these, they've done a lot of those TV live musicals, and we had like a sort of like an unknown that was discovered for The Wiz. Where is she? Where's the unknown that they discovered for the Hairspray? You know, Hairspray Live. Where did she go? You know, even if you go back to Hairspray the movie, Nikki Blonsky was, I, her career just went like nowhere. For years she didn't act. She was, I think she was doing hair, like she was a hairdresser, and then she just finally returned last year in an awful movie, Bosco. And I so wanted that movie to be good for her, but you know, Ali Carvalho is, you know, um, she's beating the odds, and that's great because she's got a killer voice and she's a good actress. So there's a lot to like about Moana. Um, you know, I work with youth in my real life. I don't want you guys all know about everything about me. That's a little creepy. I'm not trying to create stalkers, but I remember back in after we came back from winter break, because this movie opened like Thanksgiving, so basically it was like the beginning of this spring term, and everybody was all about this musical, and all of the girls were all about How Far I'll Go, and wanted that to be in the rep. So it made an impact. And the funny thing was, this year when we came back, I mean, it did have Wicked to compete against, but I saw sort of my group of kids that from, I mean, I was sitting on the same group of kids, but, and I was like, so what, and they're talking excited about Wicked. I was like, but what about Moana 2? And they're like, nah. I'm like, Beyond sounded good. At the time I hadn't seen Moana 2, and I was like, Beyond's, and they're like, no. I'm like, okay. And then I saw Moana 2, I'm like, yeah, fair. Especially when it's opening against Wicked, and you're just like, I don't know, one movie's got like killer music in the other, that music theater kids would be, you know, all about, and the other one is, I'll remember Beyond, you know, but so I like Moana. The audio description, you know, it's, both of them are have odd narrator choices that are not necessarily what I would call engaging children. At the core of these movies are made for youth, for the young, and the restless. Um, but I wouldn't say neither of the narrators are really guided in that direction. They're very kind of, they're fine. They'd be great for films aimed at adults. I don't know if this is really engaging for kids. In a film that is supposed to be engaging for kids, we have narration that's kind of, the narrator's not. The writing is fine. I thought all the times, you know, she gets tossed in the ocean. The capturing of all of Maui's tattoos was great. You know, all of that works really well. Trying to track Hey, a nonverbal lead character essentially, that's really important. And then also the I forget what they're called, but the other creatures that sail on the pirate ship, you know, they're basically nonverbal. Like, I mean, they make sounds, but they don't communicate. So you have to track them and what they're doing. Yeah, I really enjoyed the movie, and there's a lot of sort of action, and everything was done well. Um, and it's a very well written track. I just would have chosen a narrator, and I don't mean to slight this narrator either and say you can't work in this business. I just kind of think, I like to try to think about things more like, what is the best track you can make and cast that perfectly. You know, we have so many narrator talents that if you just keep using the same one over and over and over and over, they're not going to be right for every single project. You should have people for different projects. This guy should be there for, um, you know, adult dramas, for example. He'd be great at those. Serious movies. I don't know that I would use him on a comedy. I don't know that I'd use him on a horror movie. I don't know that I would use him on an action movie. It wasn't really that engaging. I don't know. I'd use him on a kids movie. But for anything that's like serious, like Conclave, for example, yeah, he'd be great on Conclave. He's not the narrator of Conclave, but just that kind of vibe. Just letting you know what I mean when I say type of film. The Brutalist. He'd be great on The Brutalist. So, yeah, it's just choices, little choices, but I think it's a strong track. Anyway, I love Moana. I just hate Shiny, so I can't give this movie an A. I'm gonna have to relegate Moana to an A- because Shiny is where music goes to die. I really hate that song more than anything that I think Lin has ever written before. I've never really been a big fan of Anutio in In the Heights. It's probably my least favorite song in the Heights. Shiny surpasses that. And yeah, I've heard all of 21 Chum Street, Hamilton, In Heights, this, Encanto. What else has he written? I feel like I've heard most, if not all, of his music, and I think Shiny is the worst thing I've ever heard him write. I think it is. I do. I believe that. I haven't heard Mufasa yet, though. So we'll see. But anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I will see you guys on the other side.